Okay, so we are going to be looking at one of the more popular cuts of meat today for the barbecue crowd. We're going to be looking at the brisket from this.
It's a limited cross from 3.5 miles away, and this has been hanging for 21 days in this form. And yeah, you wanted to look at the brisket. So the brisket, the whole brisket is from here all the way through, below what we call the LMC or the crop, and it comes to here. And this is all on the bone. It's a flat rib.
So the brisket muscle is basically the animal's pectoral muscle. Yep. It's what sits to the side of the front of the cow's forequarter. And it's basically responsible for the real lifting the cow off the ground as it goes up and gets down. It's a hard working muscle.
It's a hard working muscle. But full of flavour. The fats in it are really, really good. Yep. Especially for rendering down. We've got a butcher that's been with us, he's been in the industry for 70 years. And we're looking to see this today, because usually he'll come along and he'll take this off, and this piece of fat, as we're taking off here, is a really nice piece of fat, especially rendered. People say there's something about like pork scratchings.
Right.
This is the beef equivalent
of a pork scratching.
So
and he just steals this from you.
He steals this. Well, this is full of flavour. So you can, we pinch this piece and put it on top side because it adds flavour to it as well.
Right. Oh, that's the hard piece that you see on the top side.
See on the top side.
Yeah.
So we'll split this through, but that slightly salted, rendered absolutely gorgeous.
Beef cracker.
So, are we going to look on the inside?
Yeah, so if we spin this around, you'll be able to see from the inside view of that muscle that sits over what would be chest of the cow.
Yeah, which we were looking there, and all the way down. So this is what we call a short rib, or a flat rib, which is around about 4 inches, and it runs all the way down, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These ones we usually leave on the bone, because it's very thin, there's a lot of fat in this sort of area. But we were talking, Richard, earlier about the thickness of this muscle here, and the top muscle. You know, this is the flat that we usually roll. We usually sell this one on the bone. You've been doing a lot of barbecue with this piece.
Yes, this piece taken off the bone.
Yeah.
Well, as well as on the bone to add the flavour. But yeah, the traditional barbecuers will take the thickest part, which is here.
Yes.
And they would take that, and that's what people put in their smokers over a long period of time, along with this portion if you're buying something complete, which you rarely see in the UK.
I'm going to say this is something you've been salting and pepper, and you've been leaving to rest for a while, and then you've been putting it on your smoke or on your barbecue.
Yeah.
And this is and the short ribs. You've been doing some of these as well, have you?
I have been doing the short ribs as well. Yeah. So they've been
really, really good.
So if we look at the difference between, say, the short ribs, the point which we refer to this as in the brisket and the flat, there's a definite visible difference between the amount of fat in between the muscle
into muscle fat. So what we'll do in a minute, we'll just break that down, and we'll look at those as individual portions. So for say animal,
two very different cuts from a very similar area on the same animal. What were we saying? The flat of the brisket runs across the whole of the chest of the animal. Up here, and that's and all the way around the other side. So obviously it wraps all the way around.
All the way around. So that's the flat. It's here to here.
And that is the very lean meat that you can see here, with not much intramuscular fat at all.
No.
And then sitting above it, so superficial to it, is the point. And this part here is
muscle.
And this is what the barbecue aficionados go crazy for, and at the restaurants, that is what makes up what most people refer to as the burnt end portion. And that is because, as you can see the difference between the marbling here and here, you've got thicker muscle fibers here, and these are much tighter, and there's more fat between these. So when you cook these, when you get this joint to sort of like the 190 Fahrenheit mark, this connective tissue and this fat melts out, and you're left with quite loose muscle fibers in the meat that you've cooked, giving you that real juicy, tender mouthfeel that people go crazy for. And that is why from a brisket you can't get the same type of cut as you can from the point, but the brisket gives you an entirely different flavour again because of how that muscle sits as well. When you're cutting these off, Steve, generally the general public gets the flat, which goes all around here. What happens with the point normally?
The point usually, we roll it on the bone, so we leave that on the bone as a cooking joint, or we can roll it, but we put a lot of this into beef burgers because, as you say, there's a lot of fat in here, and there's a lot of flavour which breaks down really well and then cooks into the meat and adds the flavour. Because we all want to cook with, we all want less fat, but the flavour is in the fat. So we don't have to eat the fat, we just want the flavour, and that's what we're after, is these fats from here. And as I was saying earlier about this piece of muzzle fat that was here, one of the butchers always pinches it because he thinks it's like beef crackling, and it's a stunning piece of meat.
Well, you've got your hands on it today.
Yes.
That's brilliant. So so now you're gonna take this off.
Yes.
Like we said, we're gonna take it into the
butchery
to have a proper look at.
A proper look at the muscles and break it down.
So I'm gonna get out of your way because I'm a liability near the nose, and I'll let Steve crack on with that and watch from the side.
Thank you, Richard. The one you're on about, the bosom end.
Yep.
For the bosom. So that's one rolled up that we've rolled.
Cool. So that's what people normally pick
up, and that's where we picked up we pinched the fat to add to burgers for a bit more flavour. So that was that one.
So this piece here.
That's there. Is this. This flap. So that
you can see there.
Here. Yeah.
Fully trimmed.
Fully trimmed. So all this internal fat's been removed and then rolled up. And I think that's the piece that you were on about barbecuing.
Yes, so that's what makes up the point.
Yeah, that's it, that's the point. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, thanks, Stu.
Remove that and that. When you were on about a second muscle, the muscle on the top, that's this one here. Yeah. So we can remove that one if we wish, which is quite interesting. Which is this here. So it runs through. It just sits, as you can just see, just in between. You can't really see it there, so you can just see there.
That's the very far end of the muscle right here. And then obviously it gets larger and larger.
It goes through.
And so the reason why this is normally done as a flat is because we've got the muscle tissue running one way.
Yes.
The grain of the muscles running one way, and on the second piece of meat
it runs the other way.
So if you were to serve this normally, you were carving it, you'd be fine up until a point.
And then you get cross grain, something like this.
Yeah. So then anyone biting into that is going to be that's chewy.
Yes.
When it is
No, it's not chewy, because this is why we predominantly we sell brisket as like a slow roasting joint.
Yeah.
But now the barbecue is got onto this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this is what they're doing. So we're taking the two muscles separately.
Yeah.
Cooking this one separate to this one.
And if you really are going to have a crack at good barbecue, you get this as a whole piece, and you cook it all together, so you get all of the fat which is between here and all of that tissue. And the whole thing about when you take it off the barbecue, you'll then separate this. You'll take this part here with all the, like you can see, the larger grains of muscle tissue, and that's what people chop on. That's where your burnt ends come from.
Excellent.
So you've got a combination of what would be the traditionally rolled flat part, and then the second muscle that sits on top of that muscle in the chest, just like when your muscles in the chest, you've got more than one, and that's what we're cooking here. Or we'll throw out the barbecue. So I'm going to get out of your way so that you can not take my finger off.
So you want me to, would you like this muscle separated from this one, or just to trim it up so we can get it ready for barbecue?
Well, what are we going to do? This one's going to go onto the shop for the normal process.
Yes, so that was that one.
I'm not going to deprive you of the meat today, but in the future we will be taking a whole meat to
I don't want it off.
Why not?
We've made it more happy, Jay.
Okay, so Steve, we're going to prepare it up to the barbecue.
Excellent.
This cut is always going to have quite a large amount of fat on the outside, which, because it's a slow roasted cut, is going to protect the meat itself from overcooking. It's going to give it that degree of protection. And that's something that's really hotly contested with, especially the barbecue crowd, as to how much fat to take off and whether to cook it fat side down or not over the actual the source of heat. A lot of people feel that cooking it fat side down, you're going to lose all of the taste of the fat. But in reality, cooking it fat side down, what you're doing in the smoke of the barbecue environment is going to protect the meat from overcooking. It's going to help keep the meat actually slightly more protected from that heat source. So it is very important.
So we just leave a small amount of fat, but not too much. If you say we don't want it to be too many flames, but we need to have keep the flavour in there and protect the meat.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance.
Top one, you can see it there.
So if we quickly just sort of slide this around this way, just on the bottom, you can now really see on the camera especially the difference in the change of direction on these fibres.
Yeah, so we've got that one running here, and that one running here, so all of a sudden this is what we're doing.
Yeah, so they're going to cross over. So everyone's probably always heard, you cut against the grain so that when you get a slice, you've got all the fibres going this way, and you have a slice from here, right?
Yes.
So that they're open and they're going to be teased apart more easily. If you cut it that way, you're trying to bite it, you're going to get a much more chewy sort of bite through it. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And this is what, like I say, this is what we've done here. You know, and this will be slow roast, and this is like in a pot roast for around about 6 hours. So this will all fall to pieces effectively. Where the thicker end of the muscle will be slicing through here. This is only a small part of it. Whereas, what you're saying, the barbecue like this, and then we'll take this apart once we've cooked. Is that right?
Yeah, because otherwise if you're serving this up, you're going to be cutting nice slices of this, and you're going to reach a point where you come to these running the other way.
Yes.
So you'll have to do something like that, which means to take this off essentially, and that's where these nice parts get those sharpest ends. Excellent. So you've got basically nuggets of the part of the meat where if you spin it around again this way. This is facing you can see just how much more, only on a small amount, how much more open these fibres are because of the amount of fat between them.
Yes.
So you won't get that here because there's no fat in between the fibres on the more lean portion. But on this more open portion, you end up with a much more open piece of meat which has that better mouthfeel once all of that is rendered out. And that's why, and there's so much less of this to the rest of the brisket as well. which is why if you get it from the restaurant, you get burnt ends. You pay more for the burnt ends than you will for the brisket. Because it's like the parson's nose. There's one per bird.
One per bird.
There's a lot less. And with brisket, there's obviously two per animal.
Yeah.
So again, you're going to something that's two per animal and even less.
Yeah.
Than the other part. So
Let's say this is probably about 1 kilo, and this is probably about 3 kilos. You're saying this
Yeah.
bird.
It's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
And that is your butcher cut, wrapped brisket ready to be seasoned, injected if need be, but this is essentially it's going to have enough flavour anyway.
Yeah.
And then slow smoked for about 8 minutes.
Excellent. So what time's tea?
12:40, so what, 8:40?
8:40.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you, Steve.
No problem.